Before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to share with you my new favorite virtual vision board. You know that I love all things affirmations, visualization, and meditation, and we talk about these topics often on the podcast. So when I came across the Perfectly Happy Vision Board app, I was really excited to try it out. What I love most about it is that it's a convenient and powerful way to visualize your dream life, become clearer in what you want to achieve, and it helps you stay focused and motivated. I also love that you can set multiple daily reminders to take a mindfulness break and help you visualize your dreams, which, as you know, helps you build a resilient mindset. What you do is you download the app and you go through the steps to create your own vision board, where you can add in photos and music and affirmations to each area of your life that you're trying to manifest in. The best part is that all of the things that you need are already in the app. The combination of sound and photo and affirmations makes your vision board more vivid and ultimately easier to manifest. What I also love is that you can write unlimited daily gratitude journal entries to help you reflect on your day and really build that gratitude muscle. I can honestly say that all of the things that I put on my own vision board have happened, and it was so wild to see it all come to life. It only takes 3 minutes per day, and I really think that we all have 3 minutes. Start your free trial of the Perfectly Happy app by clicking on the link in the show notes. Okay, let's get into today's episode. Hello. I am your host, Simona Costantini. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm really excited about today's episode. We are diving into something really juicy, and we are talking all about what to do when you don't feel like you're good enough. I know that we have all been in this place at one point or another in our lives, and I think it's really important to shed light on this conversation, especially with the holidays around the corner, as we're ending this year and as we're heading into a new year. What do we do with those feelings when we're not feeling good enough? Now, today's episode is going to be nice and short and sweet. That's how I like to keep all of the solo episodes, because I'd rather give you maximum information in the least amount of time so that you can go on with your day, bring that dose of inspiration, and really make that transformation in a powerful way. Now, I am excited to tell you that the next few episodes are actually going to be solo episodes with me on the podcast. I want to bring back some of the inspiration and some of the learnings that I've learned over the last little bit, and I want to bring them to you. Now, this week on the podcast, like I said, we're talking about what to do when you don't feel like you're good enough. Why are we having this conversation today? Well, I want to have it for a couple reasons. I've spent so much time this last year and throughout my life feeling like I'm not good enough. And I know that I'm not alone in this, because in fact, it's one of the main reasons why I started my podcast to begin with. I started my podcast, out of a place of I was learning so much about myself. I was learning so much about the world around me. And I knew that there was other people out there that felt the same way as me. I knew I wasn't the only one to be going through all of these different things. And I wanted a place to share what I've been learning and share with all of you the key things that really helped me transform my life. Now, the other day, I was actually doing uploads for my podcast onto my blog page, because I want to backtrack all of the episodes from episode 1 all the way to 146, where we're at today, and really, just dive in and give you all of the resources and all of that on the website as well. I couldn't help but get this overwhelming sense of failure while I was doing this. I had this huge feeling about my podcast, and I wasn't feeling good enough about what I was putting out into the world. I didn't really understand or know where this came from, because logically it doesn't make sense, right? Like, I've had this podcast for 3 years. In January 2022, it'll be 3 years. And I know that the conversations that we're having are very important. I know that they're impactful, and I know that they're changing people's lives, because I see it. I see it online, I see it in the downloads, and I see it across the board. But I couldn't help but feel like maybe what I was doing back in 2019 was quote unquote better than what I'm doing now. And this was a really strange place to be in, because when you project happiness on the outside all the time, when you're always bubbly, when you're always, that sort of go-to person for people to feel happier, it's a very strange feeling when you're not. And it's a very interesting thing to navigate when you just simply don't feel good enough. And if you're like me and you're someone who is a little bit more bubbly on the outside, it's hard for people to understand when you're not feeling anything other than happy or excited all the time. And so while I had all these different feelings about my podcast, and I was really thinking about, like, okay, maybe what I was doing in the past was better, it's different. It's grown, it's evolved, it's changed, right? The conversations that we're having were different. I'm different. My guests are different. Everyone learns, grows, and evolves at their own pace and their own rate. So I had to remind myself of this, and this is one thing that I wanted to touch on today. So essentially today, I wanted to bring you some of the things that I've learned what to do when you're not feeling like you're good enough. So my first one is kind of what I was just saying right now. It's knowing that things are meant to always be evolving. Better, quote unquote, if you're not watching the video, because I do put the video on YouTube, but better doesn't technically exist. It only exists because we learn, we grow, and we give the word better a meaning. So if you take away the power from the word better, what you're getting is this whole opportunity to replace and change and transform what that word actually means to you, right? For things to get better, we need to have expansion. We need to have growth. We need to learn. We need to change. We need to struggle. We need to triumph. Like we need to have all of those different things, right? So things are meant to be evolving. And when you come from that space and when you know that things are meant to be evolving all the time, then the idea of better just simply doesn't really exist, because it's not that you're doing better. It's just that you're doing different. You're doing things from a different perspective. You're learning in a different way, and you're bringing something different to light, right? So if I could give you any advice today, it would be to just know that things are always changing, things are always evolving, and that better only means what you give it meaning, right? So it doesn't have to be anything more than that. Now, my second thing that I've learned here is the biggest way to make sure that you're always grounded in your present moment is to take inventory of all of the things that bring you joy, okay? It can be life wins, it can be business, it can be career, whatever it is. But take inventory of what lights you up every single day, what you've learned, and do more of that, because all of those different things serve a purpose. They serve a purpose in bringing you to the space that you're in now. And so being able to find the gratitude, that deep gratitude in your hurt, in your pain, in your sadness, in your feelings of not feeling good enough, that will help you transform those thoughts, and that will help you really elevate into a new space of consciousness, a new space of acceptance, and a new space of feeling exactly on time and exactly where you're meant to be in this current moment. Do not dismiss those feelings. Do not dismiss your pain. Do not dismiss your sadness and any experience that you've gone through, because those are the things that have brought you where you are today. And you want to honor them, and you want to move through them with dignity, with grace. And I just keep thinking to myself as I'm saying that, like, she's beauty and she's grace, like what's that, Miss Congeniality? Oh my God, I loved that movie. Anyways, but more of that, right? Think more of that. Take inventory of those things that really bring you that true joy. And from that space, you're able to grow and expand it more into those things that bring you joy, the things that bring you happiness, right? My third point here, third thing that I wanted to share with you, is that you're always doing the best you can, even when you don't feel like it. This is something that I have learned time and time again this year. It's been a huge thing for me. And it makes me think about, like, what are you looking towards for validation? Is it money? Is it the next client? Is it the next job, the next career, the next move, the next promotion, a house, a car, a relationship? Things are not what are going to bring you validation. That's something that you find within yourself. That's something that you find within your own heart, your own soul, and your own purpose. And you find that by reframing your thoughts, by doing the hard work to dive deep into who you are, what lights you up, what you love, right? So when you don't feel like you're good enough, think back to that space. Just know you are doing the best that you can right now in this moment with what you have available to you. And when you approach things from that space all the time, then you're able to really navigate your emotions, your feelings, and really not dismiss the thoughts that you're having, but take them and transform them instead, right? Not letting them take hold over you and ruin your day, ruin your week, ruin your moment or your experience. You get to take those things and you get to live your life the way that you want to, right? So when you don't feel like you're good enough, remember that you really are doing the best you can and that your own validation comes from within, from your own self. You do not need someone else to tell you that you're worthy. You don't need someone else to tell you that you're good enough. And you don't need someone else to tell you that you have done enough, right? You need to know that from within your own self, from within your own heart, from within your own soul. Anything that other people give you as validation externally on top of that is amazing, because of course we want to hear nice things from people, but don't let that be your only source of joy. Don't let that be the only way that you feel good about yourself, is when someone else tells you something good about you. Learn to do that from yourself and pick that up from the inside out. Number 4 is feel the feelings and do not dismiss them. You want to move through them. So I touched on this a little bit before, but you really want to honor every single emotion that you're in. It's really important to feel those emotions. Otherwise, they get buried really, really, really deep inside you, and then they bubble up and then they come out in other ways, right? So in terms of talking about not feeling good enough, making sure that you're honoring your feelings, that you're honoring your space, that you're honoring exactly where you are right now, and that you're not dismissing how you're feeling and just burying it and covering it up with something else, be it food or drinks or going out or partying or whatever it is. Really honor and sit with those emotions, take them, heal them, transform them, and then you're able to move through them and continue on your journey and know that you are good enough in every single moment, and that the feelings that you have do not waver that inner faith and that trust that you have within yourself. Okay, so this is my last point here, and I absolutely love this one. I think that this one is really important, but I do think that all of these points are important as well. But the fifth one is find ways to reduce that stress and anxiety that you're feeling and make that a priority. The feeling of not feeling good enough or feeling like you're doing enough is really rooted in fear and anxiety, right? It's rooted in the fear of things are going to be taken away, or the fear of you're never going to have enough, or that you're going to lose it all, right? Or that someone else is doing better than you, or that you're not on time in your life. When you equip yourself with the right tools, you start to bring balance back into your emotions. And then you're able to find healthy ways to release the anxiety that you're feeling in your body, right? So you're not stuck with anxiety riddled up and sort of stuffed into all of the parts of your soul, right? Like you're really allowing yourself to let that go and find healthy ways to reduce the anxiety that you're feeling and the stress that you're feeling in your life every single day. So for me, some of those things look like going for a walk, going to the gym. Sometimes I like to meditate, I like to journal, I like to pull cards for myself, but sometimes it's something as easy as just playing with my dog, taking him for a walk, leaving my phone at home, right? So I really think that that is super, super important. And I would love for you to consider it. If you're not feeling good enough, take a look at where that's coming from. What's the stress? What's the anxiety that is fueling that emotion? Okay. So to recap all 5 really quick, the first one is know that things are always meant to be evolving. The second one is take inventory of the things that bring you joy. The third one is that you're always doing the best you can, even when you don't feel like it. The fourth one is feel things deeply. Don't dismiss them and allow yourself to move through them. And then the fifth one is find ways to reduce stress and anxiety and make it a priority. Amazing. Okay, so these are my 5 tips. I hope they were helpful for you. I hope that you're able to take them and implement them into your life wherever you are right now, whatever space that you're in your life right now. I hope this message has found you exactly where and when you need it, whether you're in the holiday season right now listening to this as it's come out live, or if you're listening to it months or years from now down the road. I hope that this advice finds you exactly how you need it right now, and that it is beneficial for you, and that you are able to move through those feelings of not feeling good enough. So thanks so much, everyone, for tuning into the podcast. I also just want to remind you to please rate, review, and subscribe to the show. Share it with someone that you know needs to hear this message. Tag us on Instagram. Let us know you're listening. I would be so grateful to know that you're listening. And also connect with me online. I would love to hear from you, and I'm super excited about all that's to come for the podcast. I cannot wait to have you on this ride with me. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day, beautiful week ahead, and remember that happiness happens when you're least expecting it.